You know, infidelity has to be one of the most painful things anyone can go through. But what if there was a kind of roadmap for healing? Well, that's what we're breaking down today. A step-by-step guide to help navigate the aftermath of betrayal and find a real path forward.
So what exactly is infidelity? You know, the definition can get kind of blurry, right? What one person sees as cheating, another might not. But the source material we're digging into, it's super clear on one thing. It doesn't matter what you call it, the emotional impact is always the same. It's that deep, profound sense of betrayal.
Yeah, and this really breaks it down perfectly. Look, it could be a one-time thing, a huge mistake, or it could be a long-term double life. The real damage, the thing that just completely shatters a relationship, it's not the act itself, it's the total and complete destruction of trust. So how in the world do you even start to heal from that? Well, let's take a look at the roadmap.
So this guide gives us 5 clear stages to walk through. First, we're going to really understand the wound of betrayal itself. Then, and this is key, we'll focus on healing yourself first. From there, we hit a major fork in the road, that big stay or go decision. After that, we'll explore both paths, what it looks like to rebuild or what it looks like to move on. And finally, we'll talk about building a future that's truly resilient.
Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. You are doing important work.
All right, first up, understanding this universal wound. So why does this hurt so much, no matter what happened? It all comes down to what was actually broken.
Think about it, right? A relationship is basically this unwritten contract. It's all built on trust and confidence, and betrayal, it just blows that contract to pieces. That's what creates all this deep psychological conflict. Getting this is so important because it explains why the road back is often so long and just incredibly tough.
Okay, so that brings us to our second and absolutely crucial step, healing yourself first. Before you can even think about making any big decisions, the guide is super clear. You need to apply some emotional first aid for yourself.
And the guide doesn't pull any punches here. You know, after something like this, it's so common for your self-esteem to just take a nosedive. You get these thoughts in your head like, I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm just not worthy of love. And that right there is a self-destructive path you've got to consciously fight against.
So often, our first instinct is to focus on our partner, right? Why did they do this to me? But the first, most critical step is to turn that focus inward. Rebuilding your self-esteem isn't about pretending you're not in pain. It's about actively getting support and, this is huge, giving yourself permission to grieve without judging yourself for it. You really have to put your own oxygen mask on first. All right, so once that first emotional storm starts to calm down, even just a little bit, you get to this massive turning point. This is the crossroads. This is where you have to face the future and ask some seriously hard questions.
And it all starts with the single most basic question. Not, should I stay? Not, can we fix this? Just, do I want to stay? The guide really hammers this home. This decision has to be yours and yours alone, without any pressure from anyone else.
And once you answer that, you're forced to face another, even harder question about what comes next. This isn't just about whether you can trust them again. It's about your own personal boundaries. You have to figure out for yourself what your absolute non-negotiable limits are.
And finally, if staying is even on the table, you've got to ask yourself this next question. What would making amends actually mean to me? And the source material is really clear on this. Without a solid, concrete answer here, trying to reconcile is pretty much impossible.
Yeah, this can't just be some vague promise like, I'll do better, I swear. No way. It has to be a real, concrete conversation about the specific actions needed to make up for the betrayal. This gives the unfaithful partner a clear way to start easing their own guilt, but more importantly, it lets the betrayed partner feel like their pain has finally been heard and truly understood.
Okay, so you're at the crossroads. And from here, 2 very different paths open up. And each one needs a completely different mindset and a whole different set of actions. So these 2 paths, they're just fundamentally different. On one hand, you've got rebuilding together. And let's be real, this is intense, difficult work. It needs 100% commitment from both of you to build something totally new from the ashes. And on the other hand, you've got the path of moving on strong. And that's all about focusing completely on rebuilding your own life for you.
Now, if rebuilding is the path you choose, the source material says that first year is by far the hardest.
It requires a period of what you might call radical transparency from the partner who was unfaithful. I mean, sacrificing privacy on phones and messages, that's part of earning back that trust. But at the same time, it puts a big responsibility on the betrayed partner not to just weaponize that guilt forever. The end goal has to be a genuinely happy relationship, not one that's just built on control.
But what if you choose to leave? Well, then the focus shifts 100% to you. It's all about your personal growth. It's about consciously, and I mean really consciously, filling your life with new things, new hobbies, new people, new experiences that are all about supporting your healing and building a brand new foundation for your life.
And this brings us to the final part of this journey. And honestly, it might be the most important part. Because look, whether you stay or you go, the ultimate goal is actually the same. It's about forging a resilient future. It's about turning all this pain into real strength. Okay, so how do you actually do that? How do you start building that resilience? Well, the guide has this surprisingly simple but really powerful exercise. It's all about actively looking for proof that good, healthy relationships are out there. The idea is to find at least 10 examples of faithful, happy couples in your own life. You know, friends, family, people you work with.
And the reason for doing this is so powerful. You know, betrayal just breeds this deep cynicism. It can make you feel like loyalty is a total myth, that it doesn't exist. So by consciously looking for and observing these healthy relationships, you're actively fighting back against that mindset. You're basically retraining your brain to believe that trust is possible again.
So in the end, this whole journey, all the pain, the tough questions, the hard work, it's not just about getting through a terrible experience. The source material really frames it as a process of transformation. It's a way to forge a stronger, more resilient you, one with a much deeper understanding of your own self-worth.
And so the guide leaves us with this final, powerful question. The goal isn't just to survive what happened, it's to actively build a future, whether that's with your partner or on your own, that is completely founded on your own strength, your own boundaries, and your own unwavering sense of self-worth.
Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you want to overcome betrayal, break toxic cycles, take control of your relationship choices, read How to Deal with a Love Triangle. The link is below the video.